I'm here at the Morton Arboretum to talk to you guys still about solids and liquids, but we're gonna change it up a little bit and add engineering. So that means some of you are like, yes, we're gonna build. We're gonna talk about the process and you are gonna get a chance to practice some engineering on your own. So here at Morton Arboretum, they have lots of solids. Their solids are plants. Morton Arboretum has tons of trees, and we talked that flowers were solids at our trip to St. James Farm. And so here at Morton Arboretum, where we focus on trees, those are also solids. And there's also lots of liquids. We're gonna see liquids all around us, especially rain. Rain and water are important for trees. So come with us as we talk about the 5 steps of the engineering design process: ask, imagine, plan, create, and improve. We'll walk you throughout this week, but today we're gonna talk about ask. A plant scientist has a specific name. It's called a botanist. And a botanist has to answer a lot of questions. So at an arboretum, that's known for its tree species. So when they're planning out the arboretum or trying to get certified as an arboretum, they have to think, how many species of trees do I have? And then they also have to think, how many of each type do I have? How old are they? And they have to do all that research just by starting with questions. Here's a problem that people at Morton Arboretum had to think about when they were designing some of the landscape or the area around us, the natural area around us. So in Illinois, this is what the sign talks about. There was a problem. As people did more and more farming, it took away some of that natural prairie land, which actually hurt some of the animals in it, and then we didn't have as many prairie animals. Bison, or some people call them buffalo, used to be all around us where we used to live in an animal called an elk. But when we take away the prairie and their habitat and we hunt them, they go away. So one of the things that Morton Arboretum did is they brought in those natural scientists, which we called ecologists or wildlife biologists, and they had to think about, what makes a good healthy prairie? What animals do we want to bring back? What plants will help us with that? And they had to create those questions for the ask process. So I want you to think of a question that you might want to ask using I think and because. When looking at how to keep the plants at Morton Arboretum, they have to think about a lot of things, including like what to put them in. So not all spaces have soil, so sometimes you have to create spaces for soil. So we have to think, what's the size that I want? How much room does a plant need? How much room does its roots need? So when we think about planting plants in a pot, like the one that's next to me, they have to think about that. They want to look and see how beautiful it is. Will the plants work with each other? Will the roots crowd each other out? Does it get enough sunlight? Those are all questions they have to ask before they can start even building. So I want you to think of the same thing. Is there something that you could use at your house that could be good for planting plants? The liquids all around us, including the ones over at this lake, are super important to us. And if something needs to be fixed, like maybe a tree is sick and that's a problem that we have to solve, or if there is an engineering problem, like something bad is getting into the water, then we have to ask, how is it getting into the water? What's its effect on plants? And we have to think of questions to best protect the waters that we have, just like this little lake here at Morton Arboretum. Let's practice asking one of those questions. So one of the questions that I have is, what animals do you think I'd find out here at Morton Arboretum? So if you look all around me, no houses, no roads, just a wood chip trail and a ton of trees, okay? So I want you to use your prediction. I think the animals that live here are, and then use because so you can explain why. It's your turn to ask some questions. Because we've been talking about trees, just like the ones here at Morton Arboretum, I would like you to come up with 3 questions that you have about a tree in your yard, a tree that you've seen. It could deal with how old it is, how big it is, any of those ideas. So good luck.